Hey, everybody, and welcome to John Talks Indian Cinema. I am your host, the Indian Cine-MANIAC, back with episode 3 of John Talks Indian Cinema. Okay, so this is the third one in 2026, and this was a film that was recommended to me by Satyam Pandey, FK2CF. And he recommended. I don't know if Satyam, you're going to like my review of this film, but don't forget, I'm on the new scale, 1 to 10. So it was directed by Farah Khan, who I've seen a bunch of her films: Om Shanti Om, Main Huna, and Happy New Year. And I like what she does with the credits. She gives the crew a curtain call, and of course, she does that in this movie. The cast: Akshay Kumar, who I've seen in, I can't even tell you how many films, but Jolly LLB3, Good News, Kasari, a bunch of other stuff. I really like him. Katrina Kaif. Now, Katrina Kaif and I have a special relationship. Kareena Kapoor is my Hindi crush, right? Like a lust-filled crush. Katrina Kaif, who she's the one you marry. You know what I'm saying? Although she's very sexy, especially as a dancer. But I've always had a little thing for her. Now, I was not a huge fan of her performance in this, but I'll get to that. I've seen her in Merry Christmas, Tiger 3, Bharat, Doom 3. I've seen her in a bunch of stuff. Akshay Khanna, coming off the smash Durandar, where he was really singled out, and frankly, I actually think he was the best thing in this film. I've Durandar, Drishyam 2, and Race, and Murli Sharma, who was in Baby, Sitaraman, Jat. Most of the other performers I really didn't know much. Okay, so a few things about the film. Sanjay Dutt opens it up with a narration, and you could kind of, I've seen enough of his films to know his voice, but the director wanted a voice that people would recognize in their sleep. That's how she described wanting him to open it. Now, in the film, they refer to the film Slumdog Millionaire, which, from what I have seen over the years in the comment section, people from India are not big fans of that film, even though it won the Academy Award. And in this film, they call it Dumb Dog Millionaire, and Danny Boyle, who directed, is called Danny Doyle. And also M. Night Shyamalan is referred to in this film as Manoj Night Ramayalan. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they were threatened with lawsuits. I don't know. But it was a little knock on those. And this film was a critical and box office flop. It came out in 2010. Now, Satyam, I want to be careful how I review this film. I have to be honest about my reviews, and I know people recommend movies that mean something to them, or they want others to feel the way they feel about the film. I get that, and I recommend films all the time that I think are just the best, and people are like, what was that? So I get that. This one is a tough one to review because, one, the era that it came from, 2010, late 2000s, definitely looks like a 90s film. It had that vibe to me. And the humor in this film is pretty juvenile. Now, that could be on purpose because these films are made for families. And I do have that in the back of my mind as I review this film. Okay? So I just want you to keep that in mind as I do this. The story is pretty basic. There's a con man, played by Akshay, who's the greatest con man in the world. No one can catch him. And he basically comes up with a plan that to help his Siamese twins smuggling cohorts, who wants to smuggle something on a train. They are going to pretend to shoot a film in a village close to the train tracks and use the train in the film to rob the train. Okay? And as the story progresses, it's the story of how they make the film. Now, this is a super predictable film. Okay? I mean, you knew the beats of this film right away. He's gonna the village is gonna love him, even though he's trying to con the village, and he's a con man. Even though he's trying to con the village, he's gonna fall in love with the village. And even when they find out what he did, he feels bad about it, and the village forgives him, and the film actually gets made. That's the story. And that's pretty much it. Not a lot of backstory on the character other than this really strange opening where they show him, Tees, as a baby, animated baby in his mother's womb, who, while she's pregnant, is only watching crime shows. So he develops in the womb already thinking like a criminal. In fact, when he's in the delivery room, all the nurses and doctors lose things because the camera zooms in on the little crib and the baby's got all the jewelry, the watch. So that's the backstory for him being a crook. And so I have to give, on a scale of 1 to 10, I got to give this story like a 3. It wasn't a very good story, but it was also what story there was. It was entirely predictable. Okay, you knew it from the beginning. So there's a few things about this film that were really strange to me. There's a scene in the beginning where there's a police group, and the commander is talking about going after robbers. And within the stories, they flash to when he captured these particular robbers. Now, here's the part that I didn't quite get, because this film was a fantasy film. I don't know how else to describe it. There was no reality in this film at all. It's almost a parody. I mean, it was a parody of Bollywood, that's for sure, and Hollywood for that matter. But the two guys, the opening scenes where they show the robbers that they did capture, one of them, when he smiled, light would come from his mouth, his teeth. Like literally a light, like a lighthouse. And that's how they ended up catching him. They tricked him into smiling, and that's when the cops caught him. The other guy, another robber, had an armband with some doohickeys on it. And he would, in broad daylight, go up, steal jewelry from women, press a button, and would disappear. Invisible. And they caught him by switching the bands. So when he thought he was invisible, he wasn't. So then the next target is Tees Maar Khan. And they say in this, where is it? The one thing they kept saying all the time. Oh, I wrote this down. I want to make sure I get this right. It's like the Khan of Khans. It's like that line right there. Oscar escapes, 3 guys pick him up, 3 students. Yeah, I'll get into that. Khan of Khans. That's what they chant. So his entrance is him arrested in Paris. That's his opening scene. And he's wearing really bright clothes and a hat. And he ends up on this plane. And what was the name of the airline? Holy subtle, Batman. It was Con Air. That's right, Con Air. Not the John Malkovich Con Air, not the Nick Cage Con Air, but that was the name of the plane. And he manages to escape. And the way they did it was they show him leaving the plane without any cops, and then they flash back to what he did. Okay. But when he gets off the plane, he's got 3 of his guys. He's the boss, 3 guys. They were like the 3 Stooges. They dress the same the whole movie, matching clothes. Not identical, but matching. Like they weren't wearing the exact same colors, but the same style of shirt. And they were like comic relief. They were like the Keystone Cops, bumbling, bumbling. Um, and then he goes back home where his mother thinks he's a film director. And also there is Anya, played by Katrina Kaif, who in the opening, her introduction is the big song that was a big hit from this film, Sheila, which I'll get to the music later on. So now he comes up with the plan to make the film, and this is where they have some fun because there was a couple cameos in here. Uh, Chunky Pandy does a cameo where he shows up on the set and steals uh, Tees, Akshay's character, steals all the film equipment so they can pretend to shoot their own film. And then Salman Khan shows up in one of the musical numbers, looking pretty good, by the way. Again, this was 2010. And also, Anil Kapoor shows up two separate scenes. One at the Oscars on TV for Dumb Dog Millionaire. And then at the end at another award ceremony, which I'll get to. But I just found the film, and the best way to describe it is it was a juvenile film. The humor didn't really work for me. There were a few things that I like. Look, Akshay Kumar, I'm a big fan of. And, you know, it's just that when you watch a movie like this, compared to some of the films that I've seen from 2015 to 2025, it's just so over the top, that style, that it's a little jarring. And I didn't find it that funny. Now, again, if this is for a family audience like kids, I think kids might like this, right? But I just found it a little too juvenile. Now, the performances, look, everybody's trying really hard, but it was very, I've been watching films lately that are very grounded and gritty and reality based. This film was not that. And I will also say this. I love Akshay Kumar. I love Katrina Kaif, but I found her a little annoying. She's playing an overly pampered wannabe actress who's always talking about the makeup and her hair and kind of a little whiny. And I've never seen her in anything in any role like that. But I thought, one man's opinion, the best performance was by Akshay Khanna. He was hilarious as this method actor trying to win an Academy Award, and he's willing to do anything to get that award, including being in a fake film. He doesn't know it's fake. And the scene that they do when they're trying to get him to sign on is they pretend to have Amir Khan on the phone and says, if you don't want this, and his name was Atish, if you don't want this, Amir's ready to do it. And he's like, no, I want the Oscar. And every time he said Oscar, he'd go, I want the Oscar. He was hilarious in this. I've never seen him in anything like this. Like was it a little bit over the top? Yeah, but for the role he was playing, I thought it worked perfectly. And I wanted to see a lot more of him in this. Like the three guys that worked for Akshay, I could have done without them. The Siamese twins. Here's the thing, right? So this is supposed to be funny. You've got Siamese twins gangsters, right? And they got a plane. And the plane is two jumbo jets connected like this. Get it? You get that? Is that funny? I didn't find it funny. But Akshay Khanna, I found funny. And he was the best performer in this film, even better than Akshay Kumar, who, I read that he wasn't real happy, and I don't think he's worked with Farah Khan since then. I just don't know what they were going for. Is it a parody of Bollywood? Because they definitely go after the tropes of filmmaking in Bollywood. Is it a straight out comedy like an Airplane movie? Naked Gun? I'm not really sure. Because there's not a whole lot of story. There's not like a real plot to it. The whole thing is the movie. Now, the funny thing at the end when they all go to the premiere to watch the movie, that was funny. And I thought the villagers were pretty good in this too. They were funny. So the performances I am going to give, based on the type of film it was and based on the dialogue that they had to say, and I don't blame the performers for this, I'll give the performances a 6. And I'm really only giving it a 6 based on the Akshay Khanna's performance, because he was very funny in this. Okay, so a 6. Now the music, You know me and the music in Bollywood movies. Um, in this movie, it kind of fit because this movie was all over the place. But it opens up with, and it's the first song, and it's actually the theme, Tees Maar Khan. And I almost found it like a James Bond opening, a lot of beautiful women dancing, and intercut with that is the animated baby, which again is a little, it was strange. It really was strange. But it was definitely a catchy song that they also played throughout the movie. The second song is Katrina Kaif's entrance, and I mean, she's beautiful and a great dancer, too. And the film is, excuse me, the song is Sheila Ki Jawani. And she's on a film set. And then at one point, Akshay Kumar's character and the Three Stooges with him end up disguising themselves as the dancers, and they go up on stage and do the number with her. And it's a very catchy number, and it's, I'm too sexy, and I'm sexy, and she's talking about that, but she was beautiful. And a lot of costume changes. One point, she looked like Michael Jackson. I like that song. The third song is at the Dandiya ceremony, whatever that is, and that's where they meet the Siamese twins, the bad guys, who are Siamese twins, I guess, because their pants are sewed together. That's the only thing that makes them Siamese twins. So that was kind of goofy, too. Fourth song, Walla Re Walla. They're celebrating EID, and the song is By God, and that's the number that Salman Khan comes into the dance number. And they kind of do a dance off, him and Akshay Kumar. And he looked great. Remember, this is 2010. He's a little heavier. Well, he's 60. I think he's 60, 63, 64. But he looked great in that. And that was a fun number. And they looked like they were having fun doing it, too. A little a wink and a nod. The fifth song is Bedi. Now, I looked this song up, and they list it a couple of different ways. Bedi Dilwala and Bade Diwala. And it's after a scene with, again, there's this, I'm jumping back a little, but there's a scene where they all think they're caught in the village. They think they figured out that it's a scam. They run into this dark forest, and then they meet this headless horseman. So he runs away and hits his head. Now he's a little woozy, so he runs back towards the headless horseman, and the villagers think he's being really brave. They all run with the headless horseman to attack him. Now they end up in this village where the villagers have kidnapped the kids from the other village. Now that sounds pretty rough, right? Apparently not. Just brush it off and move on. But then after that happens, because he's so brave, they sing a song about his character, and it's called He's Large-Hearted. And the village sings his praise, and then they intercut scenes as they're actually filming this fake film. Okay? The sixth song, they're robbing the train. And they're robbing the train in the name of India against the British. So it's a very patriotic thing, and it's the land of my country. That was kind of funny, too, because there's no violence in this film, but they're attacking all the cops and everything, and they're waving the flags. And Atish, the actor played by Akshay, is really into the role because he doesn't know it's a real train. And the scene calls for him to step in front of the train with the flag and stop it. And Akshay Kumar's character doesn't know if the train's actually going to stop. So he's out there waving it, all method. He's like, "You will stop the British." And then Katrina Kaif's got one line where she says, "You're a dog. You are a dog." And she gets to say that line a few times. And the seventh song is a very upbeat, peppy song, and the song's called Happy Ending, which is appropriate because it goes during the credits. And this is Farah Khan does her thing where everybody in the production crew gets to come out and do a curtain call, and they do it in the form of an award show. Now, I told you earlier that Anil Kapoor is in it twice. Well, in the scene, this film, the fake film they make, it gets released. And it's a funny, when they show it, the angles are kind of cockeyed. It doesn't look like a real film, but everybody loves it. And Atish, Khan, is it Khan? Was that his name? Atish, or I just have Atish. I don't know what his last name was. He's at the award ceremony. It's not the Oscars. It's something else. It's some kind of Indian award because the Oscars got hands like this. Anil Kapoor is the one that is presenting the best actor
And the
to
award
a
goes
Tish.
to
So he starts doing this.
my friend
That
from
was a
India,
funny scene. But the song Happy
Akshay
Ending is playing, and then
Khanna.
they do the credits, and everybody comes out, including Farah Khan. So the music, I actually liked. I thought the production was really good. The music was really kind of peppy. That kind of fit the theme of this movie. I'm actually going to give the music a 7. One for the music, two because again, Katrina Kaif, oh, she's one of a handful of actresses. Look, Karina Kapoor's at the top. Okay, I don't want any jealousy between those two, but Katrina Kaif is up there. And again, they look like they were having a lot of fun too. So I gave the music a 7. Overall, I have to be honest, okay? And again, I'm always honest. I'm going to give the movie a 5. It was there were things about it like I liked the when they were making the film and they were struggling to do certain things and the parody of Bollywood. I actually liked that part of it, and I loved Akshay Khanna. I thought he was great. Like I said, I wanted to see him more, but the film it just listen. Satyam, you got to talk to me for a second, okay? Because I don't want to. Again, I want recommendations, and I would say 95% people, I pretty much love the films. It's not that I didn't like this film. A 5 is, it's right down the middle. But give me the case why this resonated with you. And was it something from your childhood? Is it something recent? I don't know if you have kids, but it's something your kids enjoy that you can watch together. Because it was just a strange movie. The fantasy elements, the comedy that is I don't know, kind of like I said, kind of juvenile. I'd like to know your thoughts on that. So let me know what you think. Again, and I want to. The reason why I always hesitate when I sometimes not crazy about a film. I had one person. It's only one person, but they were very upset that I didn't like the film, and they said, "Well, I'm not going to subscribe to you anymore. I'm not going to bother to give you any recommendations." And I don't want that to happen because I've watched films that you've recommended and I've liked them. This one was just strange. It was a strange movie. And again, there were elements about it I liked, but overall as a movie, it was just a 5. It was okay. I won't remember most of it tomorrow, except for some of the songs. I actually did really like some of the songs. So let me know what you think, Satyam. By the way, no, I was going to give you a recommendation, but the film I was going to recommend, I think I've already recommended about con men, and I think it is the best film about con men comedies, and it's The Sting from 1973. I recommended it before, but I'll recommend it again. If you haven't seen it, see it. There's like 5 perfect films that have ever been made, and that is a perfect film with the performances and the script. Check it out if you have not seen it. Okay. All right. So that's it. That's my review of Tees Maar Khan. Do me a favor if you haven't already. I certainly hope I've earned your subscription. Hit the notification button, hit the like button, and the most important thing is please share so we can build 2026. Going to be a big year for this Maniac community, and with your help, we are going to take off because there's a lot of movies coming out this year that I think are going to be big, 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 and I'm on it. That's my commitment to you, okay? All right, that's it. We'll talk to you soon on John Talks Indian Cinema with another review, a song reaction, a trailer reaction, or something else. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.